Hey, and welcome to the first edition of our state final review from the 2021 state finals. Today we are looking at the A Private Final, which was the first one of the weekend, which seems like forever ago, way back in December. So we're going to take a look at just a few plays, see what we can learn from them. Some good things, some bad things, but try to take something and learn from all of it. So the first one, kind of the big play of the day, the one that kind of got the most attention, and it was very well officiated, and wound up being the correct call. So you're gonna have the long play, and then we're gonna have what appears to possibly be a fumble right at the goal line. So we have a discussion, which is good. We always want to come together and discuss this kind of stuff, and then we have the signal. So let's kind of break it down and try to see the referee's going to make an announcement, which is good. Anytime you have a play like this and you have a microphone, you want to make sure you get on the mic and make an announcement. You kind of explain what went on. Be succinct in your explanation. Don't give a novel, but make sure you explain it clearly. So here we have a good box in with the back judge. He's going to get there in time. So we have everything we need, and really, when it comes to this play, the back judge is kind of going to be key. This is one of the good things about a crew of 7, because if this were a crew of 6, then you kind of leave the field judge all by himself to make this decision. It wouldn't have worked out well. But the back judge is in good position. He's right at the goal line. He's in position to see what happens, and then he really kind of ends up being the only one really that can make this call. Even with the field judge, even if he were there waiting, he still kind of would have been tough for him to make that call because he would have been blocked out. But it's still good that we have them both there. Kind of give a little bit of guidance. Okay, first thing we see, good job by the back judge to drop his beanbag and drop it in the field of play. It kind of seems common sense because you think, well, if you fumble it in the end zone, well, then you got a touchdown. But it's still just a little thing like that, just to kind of give just a little bit of guidance of what we're doing. So I have a beanbag in the field of play. Indicates to everyone we have a fumble. So that's sort of the initial thing. Going to stop the clock, and then we're going to come in and just talk to the field judge. Maybe say what you saw, ask him if he saw anything that's going to be different from what he saw. And then we're going to give the signal. And the good job of, go all the way back here. Good job of the other officials just letting these two talk. You really don't want to come into this conversation unless you have something to add to it, which at this point no other official other than these two really can add anything to the conversation because they weren't there. Referee is going to hang back until they give you their decision. Gives the decision, and then we're going to make it. So a lot of good stuff there. And we go back, if you go back and watch the GPV replay of it, you'll see that this was the correct call. He does fumble it before he gets there, because if this ball is loose at all before he crosses the plane, then it's a fumble. And the back judge is right there in good position to make this. This is why we cannot get beat to the goal line. We preach every camp, we preach every week, do not get beat to the goal line. It's for these exact situations. But this is a very good job overall by this crew mechanically. Right call is made. So one thing too, we gotta look at, once we ruled that we had the fumble, we gotta keep officiating the play, because now we know who recovers the ball. B recovers the ball in the field of play. B recovers the ball in the end zone. They down it, so you got a touchback. So once you make that initial ruling, which is correct, we can talk about it. We still have to keep officiating because we have to have a result of the play. Because even if we ruled that he fumbles this in the field of play, well, and then A recovers in the end zone, well, then we still got a touchdown. You just have a fumble and then a touchdown. Very good job overall by the crew right here. All right, so in this next one, we focus a little too much on returner, and we lose the flight path of the ball, which, it happens from time to time. Just kind of exacerbated here by the fact that we're so far backed up against the goal line. But this is an easy fix. It's understandable, especially as the back judge. Returners are key. He's the one we want to make sure we have a good eye on. But there's a lot of stuff we can do kind of to help prevent this. So the first thing we want to do, we get in our position, which for 2022 is going to be, just to let you know ahead of time, 10 yards back, 5 yards wide. That's what we're going to go to in a crew of 7. But for this season, what it was, you can do 5x5 or 10x2. So you get in your position, your initial pre-snap position. When the ball is kicked and when it leaves the punter's foot, you're going to sneak a look back there and get a good kind of trajectory of the flight path of the ball. Kind of see where it's headed. Because you can tell in the first couple of seconds where the ball is going to go. Unless they have a punter who's really good at kind of doing the, like a golf wedge where it kind of swings right. Most of our kickers aren't going to be that good. But if you have some that are, that's something you can deal with. Watch them in practice, kind of get a feel. Not practice in there. Watch them in the pregame warm-ups, kind of see what kind of kicks they're doing, how the ball's leaving their foot, what kind of path it takes. Just kind of get a look at all that in your pregame warm-ups. So when he punts it, you're just going to sneak back in the backfield, get a good trajectory of where that ball is going to go. So in this situation, if you had done that, you still want to face the receiver, but you still need to keep the ball in front of you as well. So you wouldn't turn your back completely on the receiver. One thing we want to do is just start backing up toward that goal line so that we have eyes on that, which is another thing, and I can't tell exactly where he started. Okay, so he made it difficult. He's on the 11. They set up on the 10, we want to be on the goal line. He sets up on the 11. Use your judgment. If it's a really good kicker, a booming kicker, snap inside the 50s. Again, it just depends. If he's a good kicker, booming kicker, go ahead and get on the goal line. If he's not, typically in Class A private, they're not. But so again, look at the pregame warm-ups. Then you'll want to go ahead and get on the goal line. So he sets up on the 11, so we don't have to be on the goal line. So yeah, this is a tough one, a little difficult. But what you would do is when you kind of saw where it was headed, just kind of back up, backpedal. Go ahead and go to the goal line. Try to keep the ball in front of you, keep the receiver in front of you, so you kind of take an angle this way. Hopefully that when the ball lands, you would be about right here. So it lands right there, you would be about right there. That way you can follow it. Because it's just, it lands behind us, and it beats us all to the goal line. That's another thing too. Side judge and field judge, y'all two should have had an idea where the ball was headed. And if it lands on the 5, then we should be on the goal line. So regardless of what the back judge did, field judge, side judge, we should have been on the goal line as well. We have a better angle at it. Obviously, you want to keep an eye on your blockers. But you want to sneak up there, sneak a look up to the backfield and in the air. Kind of see where that ball is going. It just keeps you from getting caught off guard here. All right, let's look at good reverse mechanics on this interception. Once it plays out, you're going to see the headline judge. He's going to go ahead and book it to the goal line, but keeps looking back. Does a good job of continuing to look back and officiate the play while still getting to the goal line. Then you're going to see the side judge come in here, trailing behind the play. So good job, our two side guys on these reverse mechanics. If we had the nitpick, and this is just a nitpick, and that is referee, try to get to the middle of the field if you can. Try to get more in the middle of the field just because you're wider. It expands your field of vision and you can see more and kind of have good field awareness, know where you are in the field and stop on the goal line. Like I said, nitpick, but just, it looks smoother, looks better, puts you in better position to officiate anything that may pop up. All right, let's look at some pass interference. Now, a few months ago, we came out with a video specifically on pass interference. Go back and look at it if you haven't already, or if you just want a refresher. But we went over the categories of DPI, and I'm not going to go back into all of that. But more importantly, we did go into what is not pass interference. So the rule does stipulate a couple of things that are not pass interference. One of those is incidental contact. So if your feet trip up, it's not pass interference. And that's specifically stated in the rules, which is what this will fall under. End zone view gives us the best look at it. As you'll see, he kind of goes to make a move, and then the feet just kind of tangle up. One way you can kind of see, well, one thing we'll be looking for is what the defender's looking at. And you can see in here the defender, he's looking at the quarterback the whole time. That's where his focus is. So that's kind of a dead giveaway that it is incidental contact. He's not even focused on the receiver. Their feet happen to trip up as he's trying to go for a route, trying to make a cut. So incidental contact, feet trip up, not pass interference. The second one, we correctly pass on it. So we deem no pass interference. You can really see it in the end zone view. You see again, the feet just trip. Maybe some slight contact, but nothing really that rise to a level of pass interference. So this is correctly called not pass interference. This is correct. It goes by the rules. It's just when we get into consistency, especially as deeps, really any position on the field, we want to be consistent. Deeps, the spotlight is a little more on the consistency factor, especially in regards to pass interference. So it's just when we flag that first play and then we pass on this, even though this is a correctly not called pass interference, it just lowers our level of credibility because it makes us seem inconsistent. Then there is another one, kind of the same thing. Again, their feet just trip. Another one looks like the defender actually tripped first, and he just happens to take the receiver with him. But it's still incidental. There's no malice. He didn't mean to. I know a lot of times we joke there's a foul. It's like, well, he didn't mean to. In regards to pass interference, if it's incidental, then like I said, the rule specifically states incidental contact is not pass interference. So feet tripping falls into that category. It's just one of those, it looks bad, because especially when they both fall down, if you just have one fall down, it looks bad. Everyone in the stadium wants that to be pass interference. I get it, I understand, but not only does it not rise to the level of pass interference, like I said, the rule specifically states it's not pass interference. This isn't one of those where we're flying philosophies or we institute these categories. The rule specifically says incidental contact is not pass interference. So it's just one thing that we want to look for as we're going through our progressions and everything, and as we're trying to adjudicate whether or not we have pass interference. This next one's going to be a good no call for, let's go with the tight version. A good no call for a horse collar tackle. So he's going to grab him in the area, sling him down. But the reason this does not rise to the level of horse collar tackle is because there's an assistance on the tackle by the defender. So for horse collar tackle, it's really got to be a solo effort. He has to grab him. Also, typically a horse collar tackle, if they sling him around like that, generally we're not going to call that as a horse collar. Main reason for this one, though, you have an assistance. When anytime there's an assistance on the tackle, we are not going to have a horse collar. So good job here by the officiating crew, kind of recognizing that and laying off. Plus, it's kind of wishy-washy whether or not it would have been a horse collar anyway. I probably would have gone with a no foul, just because he kind of slings them to the ground. You don't get that knee buckle. But the main thing here is there is an assistance on the tackle, so no horse collar.
Alright, that is it. Hope you enjoyed the A Private Final, and we hope you learned something. Remember, like and subscribe if you liked it. Didn't like it, well, the other button works too. Alright, we'll see you for the A Public.